Hello. So welcome to this live stream, and so right now I'm going to do a different thing, not like my previous live streams, because this one I'm going to talk about CorelDraw, and it's all about the opportunities that CorelDraw can give to you, and um, it also give me opportunities to earn a living. So welcome again. So I'm gonna go to page 2 here, and I have some graphics here, and so the graphics really says that if you are a skilled um, person and you have determination, if you add this skilled and determination and CorelDraw as your so basically that's the software that you're going to use. um, you have an opportunity to create or to earn money. So I don't know for you if you are, because for me, this is just my chart here. There are two ways how to earn money with CorelDraw. So first is if you're a freelance graphic designer, or if you work in a company. So if you work in a company who, for example, advertising company and sign shop, or if you're a student, so you can earn money by obviously creating graphics for a company, and basically you're selling your service, right? Um, but this one alone is just it's digital, right? You're selling your graphics, and somebody will pay for your service. But what I'm going to talk about now is the other side of how to earn money in CorelDraw, and that's starting up a business. Like a small business, it doesn't mean to be a big one right away. So I'm gonna go to page 3 here. So um, I know a lot of like all this equipment here. I know how to use it because I have a aside from my my full-time job as a CAD instructor, as a graphic instructor. I also have a family business that my wife and I are are doing, and we have all of these machines, and I have experience in the in using these machines. Okay. um, I'm looking at it as an advantage for me because I'm a designer, and I also am a production. I do the production of my signage, my advertising materials, and I know how to use this equipment. So what I just want to express here, that is, as a CorelDraw user, don't stop just learning CorelDraw. I'm encouraging you to learn production, right? Production, or if you have an opportunity to buy equipments like this, I'm gonna explain later, every equipment. You can also earn money, and also the advantage here, if you know how to produce the like signage and all the printing stuff, your design you won't, basically you won't design something that is impossible to produce, right? I'm just going to welcome Rajko from Croatia is in the live chat right now. Hello. So we're going to I'm going to go into basically this equipment here. So the vinyl cutter, I use CorelDraw, all my graphics in CorelDraw. I use the vinyl cutter to cut letters or to cut graphics like this. And if you want to start like a small business, or for example, you're doing it in your basement, uh, there are there are there are less not expensive equipment that you can buy. This is a vinyl cutter. So what it does, it cuts the vinyl, and then you weed the vinyl, and then you put a mask, and then you can put this into cars. And so actually I've got here in page 4. So in page 4 here it shows what the vinyl cutter can do, right? So let's go one by one here. So if you have a vinyl cutter, you can actually uh, s- uh, you know sell, like, these are vinyl cutouts for windows, hours of operation Monday to Friday, and so and so. And if you have a vinyl cutter too, you can create vehicle graphics for your customers. Um, all of these ones I already experienced, and I so basically I'm I'm a I do this for 20 years now, and I use 100% CorelDraw in all my graphics. And so, for example, this one here for t-shirt printing. So I use CorelDRAW for t-shirt printing too. If you have a heat press, this is a heat press here. So basically, you cut the letters into a vinyl cutter. I've got two kinds of vinyl cutter here. One which is the less expensive, which is a smaller vinyl cutter, and this one is big ones for bigger vinyl cutouts. For a t-shirt, if you want to start your own business, you can actually just buy a small vinyl cutter like this one here. Okay. So this one here, you can also do custom wall letterings. So these are vinyl done in CorelDRAW, and then you cut it with a vinyl cutter. Okay. So what other things or what other services can you provide to your clients? So if you have a heat press, by the way, I'm just gonna give you some prices for the vinyl cutters here. This vinyl cutter, if like this one, you can get around $200 for this vinyl cutter, a small vinyl cutter, or maybe 300 US dollars. This one is a bit expensive, but this is for bigger jobs. But if you want to start, small, you can actually buy this one to just get the experience of how to produce t-shirts, or window graphics like this. So now we go to the heat press and dye sublimation printer. Okay. I have a dye sublimation printer, and so what is the use of dye sublimation printer? So you can use the dye sublimation printer for mugs and these kind of products, because you can buy these blanks. The supplier sells these blanks, and if you have a dye sublimation printer, which is this one, even a small one would do, you can actually produce these products here. Now you need, for dye sublimation products, you need a heat press, because the heat press will hit the inks of dye sublimation, and then it would transfer, because the heat will activate those inks, and it will transfer to the materials here, like mugs, toaster, yeah, all of these novelty items. Okay. So you can also do a mug press. If you have a mug press, then you can also create graphics in CorelDRAW and sell these mugs and water bottle like this. I also have these machines, and And yeah, I enjoy it because in CorelDraw, if you just make graphics there, and then you can actually sell these products. Now I also have a small CNC machine. So CNC machine is for engraving, and you can also cut letters like this one here. I've got a client that wants their logo to be cut in wood, so I cut it for them, and they just paint it. So I charge them just for cutting of the letters. Uh, yes, embroidery. It can also You can also do embroidery, um, but for me, I don't have experience in embroidery. So this one are just suggestions. These are just suggestions for starting up a small business using CorelDraw. But I'm pretty sure there's lots there. Like Susie says, she uses it for embroidery, which is really nice. And CorelDRAW is great for embroidery because it can do yeah, you have to create a vector image before you do it in before you put it in the embroidering machine. Okay, so there's one here who's asking how much does it cost. Um, it really depends. It really depends upon. But if you want to start small, everybody wants to start small, because so that the risk of uh, for the business risk would be not that great. I would say, for example, this one. Um, so for the viewers, maybe I can't really explain here, but for the viewers who are interested in what machine I would recommend, you can just message me, or I mean email me, and I can give you some links to what I recommend. Uh, but I am the person to ask because I have all of these machines, and I also know the capability of these machines, like what products uh, can uh, can be used. Okay. Right. So I'm just looking at the chat here while I'm looking. So this is what you can do with CorelDRAW, aside from being a freelance graphic designer, or working on a working as a graphics person. I just want to know from the people who are watching, what other questions do you want me to answer, or what do you have any questions about you know uh, opportunities of starting up a business. And I'm just gonna, probably while waiting for people to ask, I just want to give you a history of my business. Basically, it's a sign shop, but it's a sign shop at the same time. I also have small scale printing, like brochures, business cards. And I would say the printing shop is 95% CorelDRAW. I use CorelDRAW 95%. Photoshop, I use it just a little bit because I know there are some very neat, very really cool effects that you can do in Photoshop that you cannot do in CorelDRAW. I just want to be honest. Yeah, so to print on a pillow, yes, that would be you need a dye sublimation printer to do that. Dye sublimation, obviously, you can also do screen printing, but for me, I don't really do screen printing because I feel it's a bit messy. But if you have a dye sublimation printer, you can print full color, and then you can just like it's just like an iron on shirts. That would be a good service that you can sell. Um, yeah, so I started. The first equipment that I bought was a vinyl cutter. It's not even this big. It's just like a 24-inch vinyl cutter. That's how I started the business, and I was in the basement. doing it. I mean, I do it in the basement. So I started with, yeah, basically I started with this one here, store hours. I also started with a little bit of the t-shirt printing. And then while I gained experience in the production, which is really a big plus, big advantage if you know how to produce your graphics, uh, that's a really big advantage, because let's just say you have your company set up already, and then you hire some production people to do the t-shirt printing and all this stuff. But say for example one day that person won't show up, right? And then you don't know how to produce this signage and all this stuff. So that's money loss, right? Okay, so Susie is asking about how big is the dye sublimation printer. So what I have here is just a small one. It's only 8.5 by 11, so basically it's a letter size, just for letter size. Because if you look at the products here, like for example the mugs is not big, so you don't need a big printer, right? So the pillow here, so for example the shirt, normally it's just like an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So I have I just have a small one. I chose a small one because our main product really is large format printing like this. So I just added this one just for so that people would, it's just some opportunity to sell products. Yeah, so Susie says that she has also a vinyl cutter. Yeah, the vinyl cutter really is very very useful. You can use this for t-shirt printing, because what it does, you cut the letters, and then the vinyl of the letters is heat activated. So for example here, your artwork, so that will be a separate cutting, right? So for example, the artwork here, you cut it, and then you heat press it, and then it will transfer to the shirt because it's heat activated. So David's is saying about there are many when printer problems when printer. Um, there's no really perfect situation in, obviously, in the world, right? Um, I bought some printer, but it's just like knowing your printer, knowing your machine. Of course, you're gonna have mistakes there. You're gonna have lots of wastage, but that's really a part of it. That's really part of the. It's a risk. It's a risk to buy machines, right? But I would say read reviews, and before choosing machine. Reviews is really helpful, and but once you have the machine, just experiment and really learn from that machine by using it a lot, and expect some wastage for the first use of the machine. Yeah, so there's one here. I use CorelDraw, SketchUp, and laser machine. Yeah, so laser engraving, you can also do that. Um, there's actually lots of opportunity to earn money using your skill as a graphic designer and using CorelDraw. And CorelDraw is very very versatile because CorelDraw can export a lot of files that can be used to this machine with this machine. For example, the when you're cutting vinyl, it should be an EPS or a plotter file, and CorelDRAW can see if I click on import here, so file import, sorry, export. It's because you're gonna export your files for the machines, right? And in this export, you got lots of exportable files here, like SVG, that would be for a small vinyl cutter, and PLT would be a plotter file that would be for some print and cutters too. And then you also have EPS it's also helpful that you can export EPS, because some machines will accept EPS. Okay, so 3D printer. Honestly, I do have a 3D printer. I just didn't include this one here because I don't think, this is my opinion, because I don't think it's profitable. I know you can do a lot of neat things in 3D printing, and I was able to create some graphics in CorelDraw and then export it. So here's my workflow. I export my graphics as an AutoCAD file, and then I use SketchUp to make it 3D and to save it as an STL file, which is because STL file is the one that the 3D printer would accept. So that's the file STL. I did it for a few months. Like I include that in my services, and maybe 10 more years and that will be profitable. But for me right now, it's not. And there's a lot of risk in, like for example, because a 3D printing, if you print a small object, that would be hours, like 2, or sometimes it would even reach 10 hours, but it's not 100% that you're gonna have a really good print. And then if you charge people, like $45 or something, it's small profit. That's in my opinion. Okay, so there's one here is asking, and which machine gives you more profit? So for these machines here, again, this is my opinion, because I've used all of these machines. I would say the vinyl cutter is the one to go, because one, the vinyl cutter, you have is very versatile. You can do a lot of things with the vinyl cutter. The vinyl cutter, you can do shirts, you can do custom wall vinyl letterings, you can do car, or vehicle graphics, window display, and yeah, I would say this one. And the learning curve of the vinyl cutter or cutting is not a lot. Like it's easy to learn this one, as long as you know how to squeegee, you know how to put a mask, and there's a lot of YouTube tutorials in how to do those things. Okay, so that's, I would say this is more profit, but it also depends, right? So for example, you're in a school, or with that people needs mugs. Mugs is also profitable because it's really easy to do. So I'm gonna talk about this mug press, and the mug press is not that expensive. You can get like a $100 mug press. So what it does, it heats the mugs, right? So you print it here, and you do your dye sublimation printer. The dye sublimation paper is different from the normal paper, obviously. Um, uh, uh, I like the mug because, say for example, you're doing three mugs. Actually, 4 mug design can fit an 8.5 by 11 paper, and it's really easy. Like once you heat up the the mug press, within 2.5 minutes, your product is done. The print will be transferred to the mug, and this is less learning curve, and yeah, that's less learning curve. Okay, so Chris is saying interesting topic, Alex. You are right. 3D printing is not too profitable right now. I've been full time in the promotional marketing for 23 years now. Yes, the 3D printing is not. Yeah, we're people are not ready for 3D printing yet. 3D printed materials. Yeah. So you print on white media to dye sub. Yes. Yes. Yes, you're right. You're right, Susie. It's always white, because the see this is this dye sublimation products, and this comes with blanks, right? Except for this one, but I know this one you have to use a different kind of paper for this. But all of this you can purchase blanks. I think there's a website called blank. If you just Google blanks, sublimation blanks, and then they sell you this like this one here, that all of this one, and then you just heat press it. Okay, so you need this one for dye sublimation or the mug press. So basically, it heats up the ink, and then the ink will transfer to the mugs or to the blanks, dye sublimation blanks. Okay, Susie is asking, and are you restricted with what color you are putting it on? Restricted with what color you are putting it on? I don't really understand what that means. Yeah, I think it's you can't just put it has the blank should be for dye sublimation. You can't put it on an ordinary material, like for example this tile. You just get a tile and then put it on. No, heat it up. No, it won't transfer. So you have to remember that dye sublimation products, your dye sublimation print should go into a dye sublimation material, which is kind of coated with a special kind of material. Yeah. So any other questions? Like for me, I really enjoy my, you know, I really enjoy production too. Like I would say this is production, right? Because as a graphic designer, you don't stick to only designing graphics, right? Because you also have to think, if I design something, will this be okay in production, or would it be expensive when I produce it, right? So it's a good idea to know how to do it, and who knows, you might like it, and then you might start up a new business for that. What about engraving or cutting on laser machine? Okay, um I've got a CNC machine, and CNC is different from laser, but a CNC can cut. So basically, it can cut wood, it can cut plexi, and it can also engrave. But there's also another laser cutting, but I don't have experience on that one because I think the laser cutting, this is more versatile because this can cut a lot of thick wood and thick materials. This one I just started doing this one, but I already I'm experienced in how to convert CorelDraw file into a what do you call G code. So the G code is the file that the CNC machine will take. Because cutting like this, because we have a sign shop, not a lot of people are requesting like cut out letters of wood or plexi, because it's a bit expensive too. But it's nice to have one, so that when a customer goes into your shop, you have basically all the, not all, like, it's like a one-stop shop, right? Yeah, and like I said, I enjoy it because it's always new, um, and if you know production, you will always adjust your design, because you always think, okay, if I produce this, is it easy to do, or is it more expensive to do, and things like that. Can you show us the shop one day? Sure. Can actually, yeah, I'll show it to you someday. Um, the Okay, so Chris is saying, how much would you have to invest in the equipment? You have to sell quite a bit to to see a return of investment, right? So um, it really depends. Like, I'm in Canada right now, and the prices is different, from other countries. Um, I can't really answer that, but the return of investment, I'm looking at. Okay, maybe I'll do it this way. Return of investment, I would say number one is the vinyl cutter is the way to go. And the mug press is also, it's low risk because it's not expensive. The mug press is probably about $100. And the CNC machine is a bit expensive, and it depends upon your market. But I would say, in my experience, the money making equipment here is really the vinyl cutter. And then I would say second would be the dye sublimation printer, and also the mag press would be fine. But aside from that, I also have a large format printer. It prints and it also cuts. I just didn't show it here because it's a bit expensive. It's around $25,000 for one large format printer, which is like around 60 inches. But you can do a lot of things. You can print on banners, you can print on banner stands, um, vinyl, which is translucent. Uh, but I'm just suggesting equipments that can be done, in a house or in a basement. It's just like for a startup. Yes, Susie, I have a Roland. Roland for me is the best. My opinion, because it's very versatile. I use CorelDraw for styrofoam cutting too. Yes, yes, you're right. CorelDraw is really um, CorelDraw is number one in sign making. That's the number one software that's been used. Not really Illustrator. It's more CorelDraw. Okay, so D3 Studio says, I have a vinyl cutter and heat press. Tried online shirt business but didn't work, unfortunately. Yeah, so the heat press, it didn't work because probably because it's online. Um, for us, because we're in the university center, that's why we our t-shirt printing is you know a lot of students would ask for t-shirt printing. That's why the but you know, if you have a vinyl cutter and heat press, and if you're doing shirts, don't be stuck with shirts. The vinyl cutter can do a lot of things, not only shirts. Again, like I said, you can order some vinyl rolls and do this stuff, you know. The do the vehicle graphic, that's vinyl. This is vinyl too, you know, custom vinyl wall. And then so for your heat press, same thing too. If you have a heat press, you can also use the heat press for other promotional products, not only shirts, right? So if one doesn't work, that's why when I set up the business, I put all of this equipment so that if I'm, you know, if I'm slow in t-shirt printing, but I still can offer them, say, mug press or, you know, doing vehicle graphics. So yeah. Yeah, but don't be discouraged because the um that will come, you know. Profit will come. It's just you have to change your strategy and maybe change your, or not changing your product, but add some products. So, for example, if you get a t-shirt printing, you would say, okay, let's do vinyl or decal, for cars or bumper stickers like that. Okay, so there's another question here. The best money is in combination with CorelDraw and these machines. Laser on first place, vinyl and sandblasting. This is my experience. Yeah, I'm happy to know that that really works for you. Um, yeah, I don't have any experience with sandblasting, but I would imagine that would be a good, a good business. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, maybe I want some feedback if sometimes, or is this a good idea that, because I know this is a different live stream. I'm not doing some effects or doing a tutorial on how to create graphics, but I'm just explaining the real world situation in CorelDRAW. Um, just give me some feedback if do you want me to talk about something like this, once in a while, or do you just don't bother, you know, do bother this one and just do the effects in CorelDRAW and all this stuff. Okay, so I'm in the 39th minute now, so I think I'm going to end this live stream, and I'm really thankful for the people who are in the chat and who ask questions. I really appreciate that, and I'm here to share my experience, experience in CorelDRAW, my experience in producing this stuff here, you know, and sharing what equipment I use. And if you have any questions about equipment and all this, you can always message me, or and maybe next time I'm gonna do some other things aside from this. Yes, so Susie is saying that everyone wants to wants to make money, but it is important to enjoy doing it too. You are very right. Um, and the bonus is if you're doing it, and you enjoy it, and then it also earns money. That's the perfect combination. Honestly, when I'm doing all of this stuff, from doing graphics in CorelDraw, which I really enjoy, and then it's really different when you're designing something and then you actually see your product. So, for example, you're doing you know, like vehicle graphics, and then you install it yourself and it looks nice. um, you enjoy it because you design and then you produce. Not like when you're working for, for, say, a company, that you only design things but you don't do the production. um, it's different. Okay, so you're, yeah, so anyway, so my next video, my next live stream would be, I'm going back to FX. I'm just gonna surprise you what I'm gonna do, but I'll try my best to make it interesting. Bye for now.